Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. At the time that you are seeing this, it is officially Christmas Day, so I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I hope that you continue to have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope that you got all of the presents and everything that you asked for this Christmas. But today, in honor of Christmas, we are going to be reading Christmas books. I am very excited. I'm not one that usually reads Christmas books at all, but I think that this year we need to be put into the holiday spirit. I've not been super Christmassy and nobody else in my family really has, so I think me reading Christmas books is definitely going to help push me in the right direction, or at least I hope it will. So we are finishing up this last day of Bookmas with a reading vlog. I wouldn't want to end it any other way, and we are going to be starting off with A Novel Christmas. I'm really excited for this one. I think that the cover is just so sweet. I don't actually know what it's about, but I'm excited to get into it. I purchased a couple Christmas books this year, and I wanted to really just put the aesthetics in the video. I wanted to get the actual books in here so that way I'm not just reading on my Kindle. I feel like sometimes like it's a little bit boring. So got a couple physical books, and then I might pick up another one on my Kindle just depending on what I want to do. Not quite sure yet, but either one is an option. I am going to start this one out here, and I'm gonna let you know what I think of it as I think it. I feel like most of the time whenever I start a book, I really have a difficult time getting into it. It takes many chapters to actually understand what's going on and to start comprehending the story and remembering everything as I'm reading. This one pretty much just jumps in on page 1 with the conflict and what's going on. So our main character is faced with having to write a Christmas novel that she doesn't want to write, or she's going to get dropped by her publishing company. Very high stakes for this one. I am excited to see where it goes. Normally, like I said, I don't just get into it right off the rip, but I am now, and I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a really good journey that we're going to be on. I'm excited, I really am. All right, I am on page 83 of A Novel Christmas. I thought that the idea behind this was really great whenever I first started. I read chapter 1 and it was quick, simple, easy to read, and I really liked it, and I thought it was going to be really good getting into it. However, upon getting into this book, I have noticed something that I very rarely notice, and I mean very rarely. I don't ever talk about or pay attention to writing styles. Obviously people have a writing style, obviously I notice it just on a very minuscule level, but for some reason in this book it's all I can think about. The only thing that I can think about is how the author is writing everything. I don't even know what my problem is with it. I don't know if it's just too much dialogue, if I just don't like the word choice that she's using. I think that there are some things that she is explaining or some things that she's just talking about that is just very odd, stuff that I've never seen before. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but just it's not my personal favorite thing to read. Just to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about, she was talking about a character standing up, and I think instead of saying they stood up or they got up, whatever the case was, she said that they got vertical or something. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying that that's an incorrect way of phrasing that. It was just a very unique thing for me to read, and I didn't necessarily care for it that much. And there's a lot of things in it that I have noticed that are similar to that in the way that she's writing things. And I think that it does make it unique, but to me it just feels a little off. Like it doesn't necessarily feel natural to me. So I don't really care for it. I'm not gonna lie, just all I can think about while reading this is the way that it's being written, and when I start thinking about that, it's really difficult for me to get into the book because I'm over analyzing like the wording and stuff, and I'm not really able to get into the story that much. So I'm not gonna lie, I am struggling a little bit with it. I am having a difficult time with that, and again, like I said, that's not something that I usually am ever struggling with. But for whatever reason in this one, it has caught my attention and now it is not leaving my attention. So my plan for the rest of the day, I have some laundry and some dishes that I need to do. I'm going to put the audiobook on. I did download it on Hoopla, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I don't know how far I'll be able to get through, but I'll probably be able to get about 2/3 of the way into the book through this. I need something. I need the audiobook to put me back into where I was, and I think that that should help at least a little bit, or if not, I can just continue the rest of the book out on the audiobook. But that's what I'm gonna do, try to get that done, and then if I do have a little bit of time and just want to listen to the audiobook, I'll do some rapping. Can't say for certain though, I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna end up doing, but that's kind of what I've got going on right now. I cannot physically read this, and I need to listen to it. I need to get something done. I need to just listen to it, and hopefully it puts me back into the spirit of this one. But yeah, like I said, I don't normally notice that. I don't know what the problem is. I'm not saying that it's necessarily the author's fault. It could just be me, you know, awakening something in my brain where I pay attention to stuff like that now. I doubt it though. That's just what it's looking like right now. Just had to let you know. So yeah, I'm gonna dish and I'm gonna laundry. I'm not gonna show you that because that's so boring, but maybe if I start rapping, you'll see some rapping and some audiobook listening. Alright, I just finished up the audiobook for A Novel Christmas. This book was not my favorite. I think starting off it had really good potential to be super great. I just really got hung up with the writing, which I very rarely do, but when I do get caught up in something like that, it is so very hard for me to ignore. So I did try to scoot over to the audiobook and listen to that while I was doing some stuff around the house, which made it a little bit more enjoyable, but I think I still just had issues with some of the words that she used and some of the ways that she explained things. But like, it's so different that it makes me stop in my tracks and like really think about what's being said. And I think because of that, because of like the language and just the different words that I'm not used to hearing, I had a difficult time like really getting into it and not just focusing on that type of stuff, which again is so dumb of me to do, but it really rarely happens. And so for me to actually get hung up on that, the writing is not for me. It very much was down to the wire with what was going on. I didn't think we were gonna get a happy ending, I really didn't, but you know, it's a romance book, so, and a Christmas one at that, so I would expect that it has a happy ending. Definitely not my favorite. I would say I'd give it a 2 stars. It was okay, but just not my favorite. I think for Christmas books, I could find something a lot better and be more content with it than I was with this one. So not mad about it. I think the cover is cute. And I think talking about a town that I've been to, but like not actually explored that thoroughly is kind of funny. So 1 down. I was contemplating doing a couple other books in this video, but I really just want a casual, chill reading vlog. I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want to read a whole bunch of books. I just want to enjoy my time reading when I am reading. So I'm just going to pick up the Summer of Christmases as our last book today. Usually I like to do at least 3 books in a reading vlog, but like I said, casual. I don't want anything crazy. I want to enjoy my experience. My last video, I want it to just be calm, cool, collected, whatever. I don't want to do anything balls to the wall. So we're going to be reading this one. I did just download the audiobook for it on Hoopla. Got some supper to make, so I'm gonna start listening to that, hopefully get into this one a little bit, so that way whenever I start reading it, it's gonna be a little bit more enjoyable. I'll already have my toes into the story a little bit, so it'll make it more fun for me. This one, I have such high expectations for this one. I want this one to be at least a 4-star. I don't know if it's going to be. I would assume it's probably not, because again, just a Christmas romance, I just feel like they can't really be that great, so it is what it is. Again, not getting my hopes up super high, but I do really want this one to be good. I think it has potential just based off of the cover, but it's okay. Like I said, I'm gonna start some supper, get that going, start the audiobook, and then we'll start reading. I'm on chapter 7 of The Summer of Christmases, and I'm really enjoying the direction that this book is headed in. I think this is gonna be so messy. I also think it's gonna be a second chance romance, and I'm really excited for that. That's the direction that I see this going in. Is it going to? I'm not sure, because there are some other people scattered in here and there, and so I'm kind of like, are they gonna end up back together, or are they going to end up with other people? I'm not really sure yet. Again, only on chapter 7, so I'm on page 66, but about 320 pages total. I really like it so far. I think it's really funny. I think it's gonna be really good, and I'm hoping that it keeps on the same path that it is, because right now I'm enjoying it and I'm thinking that it could end up being close to 4-star. but we shall see. Only the OGs remember that this is the original filming location, but I just finished Summer of Christmases. I thought that this was a really sweet book. I liked the second chanceness of it, and I liked the fact that we kind of didn't really know what direction it was going to play out until the very end. I always think that that's really exciting. I like romance books that kind of make me feel like it's going to end up somewhere different, not just super mainstream, anything typical, but I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed the being on set in the movies. If there's anything that I love, it's behind the scenes stuff, and so this one was very much that, all behind the scenes, and I very much enjoyed it. I don't know what I would want to rate it. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to do a December wrap up because I've read so many books this month that I just don't know what to rate them, but I'm in between a 3 and a 4 right now. Stay tuned for a final rating somewhere at some point because I'll probably have to update on that. I actually would highly recommend this one. Whether or not I would recommend it as a Christmas book, I'm not certain because it did take place in the summertime, but still nonetheless, it definitely didn't feel anything that wasn't super Christmassy. I enjoyed it. I think it's something interesting because you can read it in the summer or in the winter and still get the same out of it, which is very unique. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked this one a lot more than the first one that I read, but hey, they're just Christmas books. Again, I didn't expect them to be great. But that is all. That is all I read. I'm not going to keep you too long. I know you're probably hanging out with your family, doing all the Christmassy things, and I don't want to take a bunch of time away from that. But I just wanted to thank you all again so much for being here and for watching all these videos. I genuinely would not have wanted to do it without you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this entire December. Don't forget to subscribe again so that way you can help me in one of my upcoming videos in January. And I hopefully will get to see you again in the next one next year. See ya.